Alright guys, so welcome back to a brand new video. Today's video I can probably tell you is not going to be very popular in the sense that I don't have the same opinion that most other reviewers do. And that's okay. I think that's why we have different reviewers out there, because we all, just like every one of you guys, have different taste. So what I'm going to talk about is a pair of headphones that's constantly getting compared to the Sony 1000X M3 and the Bose QC35-2s. We're going to talk about the Microsoft Surface headphones. So first off, I'm going to say that yes, this is the first pair of headphones offered by Microsoft. It does have noise canceling and it is priced at $350. Pretty much lines up with the Sony and the Bose. But almost every reviewer I've seen has just given the award to the Sonys or the Bose and they disregard the Surface, or they say that it feels like a beta product or it's lacking this or this and that. And I honestly think my opinion is slightly different. But before we get into all that, let's go ahead and get into what's in the box and some of the features. First off, when you open it, you can see that it is a very nice flat carrying case, but it is fairly large when you compare it to the others. So it is going to take up more room, but the fact that it's flat will easily slide into purses and backpacks and not take up a lot of the volume of space. So for traveling purposes, these definitely fit that need, which is what most noise canceling headphones are made for. So the first thing you see when you open the case is you see that the headphones are laid in flat. Now they do not fold down, they actually only swivel the ear cups so that they lay flat, and that's about as small as they get. So that's one of my complaints as far as if you're a traveler. These aren't going to be like small and compact that you can kind of throw into spaces like some of the others. You can see that it has a card that has the touch controls to let you know that on the touch areas you can play, pause, skip forward, and also answer calls along with even activating Cortana. So it has the smart assistant with Cortana, which I personally like. I feel like the response time is just a little slow at times, but I don't use this feature enough that that is a huge complaint from me. Now also inside the little pouch you see that you get a headphone cable if you want to use them that way. Now the battery life, if you're going to use it with the headphone cable because you still want to use noise canceling, you can get 50 hours of use. But these are more geared towards people that are going to use these wirelessly, which you will need the USB-C cable that's included, and at that you only get 15 hours of battery life. That right there is a huge complaint because it's almost like half of what the other ones are getting. But the one cool thing about it is it does have the quick charge feature, so if you charge it for 5 minutes, you will get an hour of use, and these will fully charge within 2 hours. Alright, so the headphones themselves. I will say that I wish these were offered in other colors, especially considering that Microsoft offers the Surface Pro now in a matte black. This thing would look amazing in matte black. I'm just saying, Microsoft, for Generation 2, you might want to make these black. You'd probably sell quite a bit more. Because as you can see, you know, this silver, almost white look to them stands out quite a bit. Not only do they stand out with the ear cups being kind of big, the color just really is drawing attention. Now some people may want that, but I like the whole simple, just sleek look, which these do have other than that. You can see that the Microsoft logo is just simply right here on the side. Now I am a huge fan of Microsoft's lineup. We have a Surface Pro in the house. I use the Surface Go, and this has the look of the Surface lineup. It's very clean. Everything is really smooth. I think as far as the design goes, they nailed it, although I wish the ear cups were a little flatter. Now, speaking of the ear cups, this material in the ear cups is some of the softest that I've felt. Like, honestly, you could wear these for a long time and your ears never get uncomfortable. Now, I can't say the same thing about the headband. I did feel like if I wore it for quite a bit, I could start to feel it on the top of my head. There's not a whole lot of padding, and the headphones themselves do have a little bit of weight. Now again, I think that's kind of aimed towards the size of the ear cups. Now they have 40mm drivers, which is doing a more than decent job with the sound, which we will get into. But also on the outside of your left and right, even though you do have touch controls, they have dials as well. And on the left side, you can actually dial up as much noise canceling as you want, and then you can kind of dial it back if you want to be able to hear a little bit of your surroundings. In fact, when you turn it all the way down, it starts to activate the microphones to pull in some of the sound around you. And these dials work so smooth. On the right hand side, that's the one that controls your volume. And I'll say it works flawlessly with my Android phone, and it works incredible with the Surface devices that we have in the house. As far as durability goes, I feel comfortable pulling it to right about there and twisting. You can start to hear a little bit of creaking, so it makes me a little concerned as far as the build quality. And also with this being a first gen product, sometimes there's just bugs here and there that companies have to work out. Now, taking calls on this, the mics are absolutely incredible. They pick up very clean. In fact, you wouldn't really be able to tell a difference between answering it on your phone and answering with the headphones. So all of your inputs and your controls are on your right-hand side. You have the power button, which is also your pairing button. You have your mic mute button. You have the USB-C input, and then you have the headphone jack input. So everything's right there on the right-hand side. It's a little weird to me. I'm used to headphone cables being on the left, but that's not really a complaint. That's just something I noticed. So this is where I'm not gonna do direct comparisons because I may do a video later on this, but now we need to talk about noise canceling and we need to talk about the audio. I feel like the noise canceling on these are pretty incredible. In fact, it blocks out majority of the sound, especially the seal that you get with these ear cups, because there's no questioning the seal. Because of how soft they are and the memory foam that's in them, they just form to your ears, and the noise canceling working on top of that just does a tremendous job of blocking out the sound around you. I would honestly say the noise canceling is on par with both the Bose and the Sony, probably giving the slight edge to the Sony, and I feel like the Surface headphones are more in line with the Bose. As far as the sound goes, this is where, to me, I can tell a huge difference, and this is where I prefer the Surface headphones over the other two. Now, I do feel like the Sony has the more natural sound to them, with a little bit more boosted bass than the Bose, but I feel like the Surface headphones just had more energy in the sound. Like the bass is boosted, the trebles were boosted quite a bit where it's just really clean, and the fact that once you download Cortana's app, you can have a lot of different EQ settings and you can kind of tweak it the way you want to. Because I think out of the box, just exactly flat like it was okay. But once I went into the app, added a little bass, definitely added some more treble, I found the sweet spot that I think hit the nail on the head with the way that I like a sound signature. Now, I will say the huge advantage with these to me is the sound stage. I felt like the Surface headphones had a pretty open sound stage considering they're closed back headphones. And mix that in with having impactful bass and really good treble, it was incredible for movies and music. Like movies, dialogue came through perfectly, but in an action scene where like a car is racing or crashing or explosions are happening, you actually can feel that because of the bass impact on these. But when there's dialogue, everything comes through clear. And the same thing kind of works for music. It worked across all genres because I felt like music that really wasn't bass heavy, it's not trying to add that extra bass in there where it's not needed, but I feel like at times when you're listening to songs that do have lower frequencies, it's picking it up better and it's having more of an impact. So my personal preference between the three, I would actually take the Surface headphones. I am going to complain that the battery life is probably half of where it should be. I feel like comfort, they need to do something with the headband. I think they need to add colors, but that's just a cosmetic thing. That's not really a big deal. But as far as sound, I wouldn't touch it. I think sound-wise is exactly where it needs to be. And the fact that you can EQ it and get it to sound even more like you want it to. You can also do that with the Sonys as well. So what I get from it is the fact that Microsoft, for a first-gen product, really has something incredible here. But my main concern is how at times Microsoft bails on a product like the Microsoft Band and the Microsoft Zune before really giving it a chance to bake and become the full-featured product that it can. Now, I don't feel like they're pulling back any features. I think right out of the gate, they probably should have priced it a little lower so people aren't directly comparing it, or right off the bat, some people will not give these a try simply because they've heard so much about the Bose or the Sony, and I completely get that. So I absolutely love the Surface headphones. I'm glad to add it to the collection. This one I'm going to use a lot because I use my Surface a lot, and it plays very well in the fact that I can have it connected to that and my phone at the same time and be able to use them both at the same time. So with the few complaints aside, I definitely feel like it's worth the $350 price tag, although I will say these probably will drop to $300 and likely $250 within the year, just because of how Microsoft devices go on sale and how that works. Maybe it won't, but I think at the full asking price, it's still worth it. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you guys so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, guys, make sure to stay tuned for more.